Hello and welcome to Drive-In Double Feature Podcast. I'm Nathan,
I'm Ryan.
and this is the podcast where we talk about two movies a week every Tuesday and Thursday. But before we get into this week's episode, if you head over to the Patreon, patreon.com/Drive-In Double Feature Podcast, we have bonus episodes over there. We do quizzes, games, and we even record our pre-show talk. So if that sounds interesting to you, just for $5 a month, you help support us. I don't know why I'm even telling you this because according to Ryan, everyone in the world is talking about this. And I don't even know if you need to hear about it. We got billboards, we got drug dealers in alleys handing out codes to it, whatever. But anyway, if you haven't heard of it, check it out. Everyone else is doing it. But this Tuesday, we are talking about Rock and Roll High School from 1979, directed by Alan Arkish. And guess what? He's back. This is a New World Pictures movie, so it is a
Yes.
Roger Corman flick. But don't worry, this
Yes.
Roger Corman isn't too much of a sleazebag on this one. He wasn't like we need naked ladies.
We need the girls to take their tops off.
Yeah, luckily it takes place in a high school, so
That
well,
wouldn't
I
have
guess that
stopped
did.
them.
Yeah, you're right. That doesn't stop Roger Corman. But he doesn't do that here. This one is just a musical comedy. It sounded like a fun movie. It features the Ramones as characters in the movie. That's kind of why I was interested in it. I think I picked this one a long time ago. We switched it, so we're back here at it again. Yeah. So I guess getting into the production of this movie, did you know this was Disco High School at first? This was originally a disco high school movie. Now, how would you feel about that, Ryan? I know you're a big disco head.
Oh, I would have been all for it. That would have been
Yeah.
great.
No, yeah.
Like imagine them like dancing in the hallway with strobe lights and like the tile floor could become like a flashing dance floor.
Yeah,
And
see, it would have no, that does sound like a fun idea. Because I watched an interview. Leonard Maltin interviewed Roger Corman specifically about this movie, and Roger Corman was like, "Yeah, what's hip now? Disco. All right, let's make a disco high school movie." And I guess he asked Alan Arkish to make this movie. This is his directorial debut. Um, and he was like, "Oh, let's make Disco High School." And Alan was like, "No, there's no way. I'm not doing that. We're making a rock and roll high school." So that's how. And then I guess Roger Corman was like, "Okay, whatever. You
well,
do it."
well, let me ask you this because I'm not the music guy. So
Mhm.
this movie is about the Ramones. How big were the Ramones during this time frame? Were they like
Ooh, good
big
question.
or like what?
A good question. I'm not really sure. I know they were big. I mean, they had hit songs like "Rock and Roll High School" is one of them. I Want to Be Sedated is a big
Mm-hmm.
one, and then later they would have a song featured in European Vacation. So I mean, like they were big. I don't know how big. I like
Oh, that's what I was
obviously
just
not.
want.
Oh,
Well,
go
yeah,
ahead.
that's what I was wondering. Is this just like they're getting like young up and coming Ramones, so they get them real
Oh,
cheap, or is this like them like at the height of their fame and everyone's going nuts for them?
I think so. I think it's more of them at like maybe height of their fame because I just looked them up. They became a band in 1974 and they had released four albums like right in a row 1976, 1977, 77, 78. So they were probably rocking them, getting hits out of there. Yeah, because they are not up and comers at this point. They do have hits. Um,
I just remember there have been movies where they're like that. It's very clear like they're trying to like promote like this new band. Like, oh, we're gonna like jump on this band quick before before
before
anyone
they
else
get too
does.
big. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think that's what was
exactly.
going on here. I forget. Let me look really quickly because they were not the first ones to get offered this role. I think there was like a yeah. It looks
We
like
we 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 asked the band Cream if they wanted to do
yeah.
it.
But it looks like they wanted Cheap Trick and Todd Rundgren. It
I've
seems
heard
like
of top. Yeah, I've heard of them.
yeah, yeah, but it looks like the Ramones were just suggested by the actors in the movie. Um, yeah, I mean, and that's probably the best pick because not that I know a lot about the Ramones, they're not one of my favorites, but they've stayed really relevant. I think a lot of those songs, Rock and Roll High School especially, I feel like are still staples. They're in Guitar Hero.
I always feel like I want to be sedated like all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. Those are hit songs. But anyway, I guess
And
moving
they had to stick it to the man.
exactly, and they had to stick it to the man, and they had to be in a Roger Corman flick. Uh,
Yeah, well, that you see, they got offered like a Steven Spielberg movie, but they're like, no way, man. We're doing the real filmmakers here.
no, no, I don't want to do the Close Encounters soundtrack. Come on, that's not happening.
I want to do like the real scene, the indie scene.
Yeah, you got to remember, New World Pictures was like A24 back then. It was like, oh,
I
did you see the
mean,
new Corman film?
kind of.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah. Well, at some point, A24 is getting big now. But I guess getting into the movie right off the bat, I knew this was like a comedy musical. I didn't know it was a zany comedy musical, like Naked Gun style
Yeah,
gags.
I
It
didn't
is.
realize that either. I didn't realize it was going to be like a full on parody movie.
Yeah, it's like a parody of like teen movies. It is all over the place. Like literally the first scene in the movie is a freshman looking at the map and he goes, "You are here. Huh, where's that?" And then literally there's a white X under him. I was like, "Oh, this is one of those movies."
there,
uh,
there, there was some like genuine moments in there. Where just like I was like, okay, that was kind of fun. Just
no,
like,
no, it's for real. I really like this movie.
yeah,
I thought it was a blast. It's just like a good time, and it just has like, silly jokes, and I think a surprising amount of them actually land pretty well, or at least they're creative.
yeah,
Um, yeah. So the way this movie starts out is it's Vince Lombardi High School, and all the kids are gathered around, and our main star, or one of our main stars, is PJ Souls playing Riff Randall. What a great name! That's just a good name. That's recognizable. And she loves rock and roll, and she's got a best friend named Kate
Kate, it,
Rambo.
Rambo, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Um,
remember it was like something like Rambo.
yeah, it's an odd name. And they're blasting some rock and roll music, but then there is Principal Togar who hates rock and roll music, and she's the new principal, so she has to make a stand. Um, yeah, and I mean that's it. It's basically Riff Randall fighting against the principal almost, but they get their own scenes. I loved Principal Togar in this movie. She is absolutely insane and has one of my favorite scenes in the movie where she's showing the teachers the effects of rock and roll music on mice. And
Yeah.
like she just puts giant speakers next to a rat cage and it just starts shaking everywhere and the rats explode. Um, and it's like she shows the after effects on like a billboard and he's like, you see this rat listen to rock music and it's a rat wearing a leather jacket.
No.
It was yeah.
I thought that rat looked pretty cool.
I thought so too. And what's funny is this is getting way ahead, but it completes the joke. I thought that was it for the joke. A life-size rat, like a guy
That is my
rat.
favorite. I that is my favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah, because it comes out of left field. You think that joke's over, right? It's like, okay, we had that joke.
Well, because they show up to the Ramones concert,
Hmm.
and it's like this guy taking tickets. It's like, okay, come on in, come on in.
Hmm.
And then, like you said, this giant, like horrific looking rat like shows up, and
Hmm.
they're like, he's like, oh, come in, and he sees the rat. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, we don't allow any mice. They come in here, they're exploding everywhere, and we can't have that. And then like the rat's like, oh, he's like holding up a pair of headphones, like, oh, you brought some headphones, okay, yeah, come on in, man, no big deal. Like just like, and
Yeah.
and then another kid came up and he's just like took off. He's like, all right, let's see his eyes. He's like, okay, no, you're too stoned. Like,
Yeah, get out of here. Yeah. And what's funny about if this was like another parody movie, like Date Movie or something, that rat joke would be done there. But the rat continues to be a character, and they show scenes of him at the concert listening to the music.
and not only that, but they show the rat's mom like later in the
Like,
movie.
I can't believe they did that. Yeah, because well, I guess we're all over the place, but eventually the kids take over the school, and the rat mom's like, "This is what rock and roll music does." It's bizarre that they went that they did jokes like that, and I kind of love that about this movie. When I gotta say, but I didn't say it at the top. We've covered an Alan Arkish movie before, right?
Refresh me.
Heartbeats. One of our
Oh
least
God.
listened to episodes. So talk about a downfall. That's like he also directed Caddyshack too.
All right, so let me ask. So before we recorded this episode, you had told me that the director is on Letterbox, and
Yes,
you
yeah.
told me he like every once a year or whatever he watches this movie and gives it a 5 star.
Yeah.
Um, does he do that for Heartbeeps?
No. I did see his review of Heartbeeps, and I think he gave it like a half star. He does not
So,
like Heartbeeps.
but that was his fault though.
Yeah, well, here, hold on. Why don't I look it up really quickly? We're on the topic.
That's yeah. I need to hear
Yeah,
this.
only like me, you, and him have seen Heartbeeps. Okay, yeah. Sorry, he gave it 1 star. Watched it to prepare for a commentary on a new DVD. Okay, he's not gonna. That's
Okay,
it.
that's it. Buy the DVD, loser.
Yeah. So you want to hear my opinion? Oh, he rewatched it. I fucked this one up. Got it all wrong. Youthful hubris, wrong tone. Oh, so he admits to it.
It's his fault. It's
Yeah.
100% his fault. There you go.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. It's not Andy Kaufman's fault.
No, I remember. I think Andy Kaufman didn't even like that movie.
No, he didn't. I think he like apologized for it, in his own way, but um
That's why he died.
God, because he didn't have a movie career. Isn't that
He
crazy?
paid for it.
Someone as famous as him to not like be in like anything really. He's in that and then like some other like horror comedy movie. He never really did much.
No, he's a TV guy.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yes.
rock and roll
Anyway,
high.
getting back in the rock and roll high school. But yeah, there's just like a bunch of zany characters, and it's almost just like things happen. There's a jock character that like I love it. Who it plays against the jock type, where he all the women love him and he gets laid all the time, and he actually can't get laid and he can't talk to women at all. Every time he
Yeah.
talks to a woman, he's like, "Oh, the weather, it's crazy. It's raining cats and dogs in Idaho." And all the women make fun of him for that.
Yeah, like nobody is interested in this guy, despite him being like like
Yeah,
any other movie, he would be like the most popular kid in school.
exactly.
But
Yeah, because he's like the star quarterback.
but in this universe, like the ladies' man of this is Clint Howard.
Yeah, I love seeing Clint Howard in a movie.
Oh, it
Yeah,
was great.
yeah,
I like that scene too, where he's like playing matchmakers, like trying to get them to hook up, and then he he takes Kate and I think what's his name, Tom.
yeah. Tom Roberts. Yeah,
Yeah, they're like, okay, we're gonna go do a practice date, and he's like, here we are, lovers lane, and like you think it's nighttime, but then like they pull back on the camera, it's a backdrop, and they're
yeah.
like,
They're
so
practicing in broad daylight.
yeah, so that was pretty funny, and
Oh yeah, and Clint
uh,
Howard's name is Eagle Bauer, which I love that too. And his office is in the boys' restroom, and there's like a line with the receptionist in there to talk to
yeah,
him.
yeah, and he's got like a desk and like all these like
And
pictures on the wall.
yeah, he's like a sleazy lawyer, I think is what they're going for. Like Better Call Saul ripped off of this one. I'm telling you, people.
I could see that. I can see Bob Odenkirk like
Oh,
trying to play Clint Howard.
Bob Odenkirk is Clint Howard in the Clint Howard biography.
Yeah,
That's
he
what
could do
it's just called Clint. Uh,
it.
but
You
yeah,
think it's about Clint Eastwood, and then you go to Clint
you go
Howard.
it's a Clint Howard movie, the life of Clint Howard, and you're just expecting just Eastwood's giant life in a movie.
Yeah,
That'd be great. But no, Clint Howard is honestly he's a good bit of fun. He shows up a little bit and he tries to match make these two together. And he even gets him a van. And I thought that was a funny bit where he calls a Riff Randall because he wants to sleep with Riff Randall, and he's got the big poster and he's like, "All right, you talk about the car, and then you talk about having money," and he's like leading everything through with him on the phone call. But the big deal here is that Riff Randall is she buys like $1,000 worth of concert tickets to see the Ramones just to hand them out. And oh, this is another great gag. How she keeps getting out of school is she gets Kate to hand in notes, and the first one says, "Oh, my dad died." And then the second
Yeah.
note on the second day is, oh, my mom died too. And then the third day, it's my goldfish died. And it's not like too funny, but I like Kate's like reaction of, oh, these things happen in threes. And I don't know. It worked.
No, well, yeah, that's I forget what they said. Like the later in the movie, she said like this: you've had every relative die every single day you come to school, or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, because Togar ends up taking the tickets away. And the Ramones aren't a huge part of this movie until the end of it, but there is like that dream sequence where they sing to just Riff Randall because she absolutely loves Joey Ramone, which is funny. I looked into it. Joey Ramone was older than her by 3 years, but every other member of the band was younger than her.
Well, no, yeah, I because I remember she's been around for a while because she did Halloween before this one.
Yeah, she was in Halloween. She was like in a few other movies. But yeah, there's that sequence. I don't know. I mean, Ramon's music is fine. I like the sequence though. The way Joey's just an odd guy, honestly. Like the way, like he was like, I think it's what's the name of that song? It's like I want you around or something. And the way he points is like really weird. Like he can't hold his hand straight. I know that's a weird thing to comment on, but he's an odd fellow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the Ramones music that much, but
Yeah.
it's never been one where I'm like actively going to seek out.
No, no. But there's that where they sing, and then once they show up in the movie, once the concert happens, they're in the rest of the movie. They're at the high school blowing it up. Um, there's another funny one where like Joey Ramone is almost like controlled by his manager, and he's like there's pizza, and he's like, no, Joey doesn't eat pizza. He eats alfalfa sprouts, and he's just like jamming food into his mouth. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they got these guys to do this.
They're like Roger Corman's just like, you guys are gonna be so big after this movie, like, but you have to do everything we tell you.
Okay.
And,
Just shove food in his
but
mouth.
you want to see these pictures of naked girls I got to get you to do this?
Yeah, right. I could get any girl in any of these movies naked for you.
Probably would,
Yeah.
sicko.
It's true, it's true. But anytime he's in interviews, he's smiling and happy. I mean, he's an Oscar winner. But then there's like I guess the movie all builds up to the chaos of the final scene, them blowing up the school. It's fun. I think I liked a lot of the gags earlier in the movie than I did the end of the movie.
Well, like because at that point, like for probably like I don't know, would you say like a third or a quarter of the movie, it's them at the school, and it's just like we're going nuts, we're going crazy, that type of
Yeah.
thing. And I mean, there's some cool sequences like when they're riding on the stage and it's being dragged through like the school hallway. Like I thought that was
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty neat
Yeah,
looking.
there's some fun stuff. Like one of them flips the picture of Vince Lombardi, and then the back of it is the back of his head. There's one part I kind of felt bad about where Clint Howard and a few kids are throwing food on the lunch ladies, and
Oh
like these,
yeah, and they're
and
like, not Tuesday surprise.
yeah. But I'm thinking about these ladies that have to do this because they are covered in like all this like goop and stuff, and they're getting it thrown at them.
Well, no, yeah. In the movie context, it's because they made crappy food. They're obviously awful
Yes,
people.
of course. Yeah, everyone in this high school is a bad person and deserves what's coming to them.
Yeah, if you don't like rock music, you're evil.
Exactly. Which is
Like
there's the teacher, the music teacher that
this, yeah, he likes it. He turned out to be a secret Ramones fan.
yeah, exactly. And he shows up, and he's dancing with them in the end. And they all get together and they blow up the school, and guess who's in it? Dick Miller playing a police chief. You can't
Yeah.
those are two mainstays, Clint Howard, Dick Miller.
And uh, one other notable person, which I recognized it right away from his voice,
Hmm.
is the radio DJ because he was in Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, is he the
That,
radio DJ in Grand Theft
yeah,
Auto?
yeah,
Okay, that's why he was recognizable. I was like, who is that?
because like I could tell by his voice. Because remember in the Grand Theft Auto, he was like, "Oh, hey, this is Curly Q coming," and like And like, because I remember at the end of that movie, he like drove through somebody's house. It's like, because he was like constantly narrating. He's like, "Now I'm
That's
driving through
right.
this fabulous living room."
That's
Where
right.
the,
What is it? He's playing the same role. Is it the same character?
he's if you look at his filmography, it's like he has played a radio DJ like so many times. I'm like, he must be like a radio DJ.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, that's probably what it is. I mean, I would even look it up. Screaming Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, he was one of the most popular disc jockeys in the United States from the 60s to his retirement in 1997. Wow.
Gone
Uh,
too soon.
yeah, gone too
He had
soon.
he had a couple more good years on him, I think.
I think so. I think Roger Corman should have put him in some of his like 90s movies, the good stuff. Um,
Uh, yeah. Okay. Which one?
I don't know. Wasn't he making like children's movies at that point? Like weird like children's movies?
I don't know. I think maybe Charles Band should have put him in a movie. Like, maybe he
There we
could have
go.
been like in a Puppet Master movie or something.
I agree. Yeah, we know we haven't talked about Band in a little bit. Maybe it's time. Uh,
Maybe.
yeah, maybe. But Corman's like a whole different beast because Band, you kind of know what you're getting. Corman, he's a little all over the place, especially when we watch something like this. And I was surprisingly like, wow, this movie's not really sleazy, and it's just a really good time. I think overall, Rock and Roll High School is really fun. I got out of it and I was just like, I laughed a lot. I thought it had pretty good music, and I just liked what it did. So I was pretty happy getting out of this one.
Yeah, I was dancing
You were
and
dancing, oh, like at one of those like the Oogie Loves movie where you're
yeah,
dancing and singing along.
like where you're supposed to like dance to the movie. Like
Yeah, everyone dance. We gotta beat the bad guy. Do it.
I hope that they should have done that for this movie. Like just put up like dance, like flat.
It to be honest, it seems like a gag that they would actually do.
Now, do you think when anybody they did see this back in the day, they're just like, yeah, rock and roll, and they just start like dancing?
I don't know. Do people dance to well, yeah, I mean people are dancing to the Ramones in the concert in the movie.
Yeah,
Or do
I
you
mean,
stand there and you're like, oh, okay, this isn't fun.
yeah, I mean, which movie would you dance to?
What movie would I dance to? I don't know. Xanadu. I was
That
already dancing to that one.
I would have said Saturday Night Fever.
Oh yeah. I guess no, I prefer the sequel. Um
Staying Alive.
yeah, Staying Alive. There we go. Yes.
That's a great choice. Sylvester Stallone's finest.
I love him. I love his directorial movies. Oh, maybe
But
we need to do that. But anyway.
all right, yeah, I totally agree. It was a lot of fun. I had a good time watching it. Like you said, it was surprisingly funny. Like I was thinking like because when some of these jokes were coming, I was like, I don't know about this, and then
Uh-huh.
just but then when they started like laughing, I started liking it a lot more, and I was just like, yeah, this is actually pretty good. I like this one.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I definitely give it a recommend. I say check it out. But
I do too.
but that does wrap it up for this one. But Ryan, what are we covering on Thursday?
Well, Nathan, uh, I made a mistake because when I was looking at my movies to watch, I couldn't remember what I said on last Thursday's episode. So I I looked and it said, 300. And I was like, oh, yeah. So we're going to talk about the movie 300. So we're going to talk about 300 from 2007. Uh, but
Oh, okay. So you also okay, no, you're right. It is 2007. Okay, good. Because Wikipedia lists it as 2006, and I was like, okay, no, that's a film festival.
that's why, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, no, we're going to be talking about 300 because guess what, Nathan? It's our 300th episode.
Oh my God. I can't believe that.
Yeah, no, I originally picked Cincinnati Kid, and maybe we'll do that one day. I'm not sure, but um, I I was just like, oh crap, it's 300, and I'm like, what should we even talk about? And I'm just like, 300.
It just came out. Yeah, who doesn't think about 300?
That's what I think. I mean, honestly, Zack Snyder should be on this show. So
Maybe, yeah. I feel like at some point it was bound to happen.
no, I mean, like, we should interview him.
You think he would do it? I would interview Zack Snyder.
Yeah, like,
Even though
how dare you?
I think we've disparaged him a little bit on here.
I would name one bad thing I've said.
Okay, I can't. Maybe I'll think
Okay.
better.
All right. Well, yeah. So we're gonna watch the movie 300 on our 300th episode, and that one is not streaming anywhere. Sorry, you know what I mean. But you probably already own it on Blu-ray. Just go look in your closet.
It's true.
And so, anyway, go check it out. We'll be here to talk about that.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to talk about that one. And if you want to email us, you can email us at driveanddoubleFeaturePodcast@gmail.com. You can head on over to X, and we are at DIDF. And if you want to talk to us there, you can.
DIDF Pod.
At DIDF Pod, and you could talk to us over there. And until next time.
Until next time. Bam, 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 bam.